Our next guest has spent 25 years as the leader of the largest neo-Nazi organisation in the US before a dramatic about-face in 2019 when he renounced extremism. Now, Jeff Schoep now runs Beyond Barriers, which is a group dedicated to helping people exit extremist movements and preventing radicalisation through education. He's written a new book. It's called American Nazi. It's on sale. You can get it in all good bookshops right around the country. There's the cover. He reflects on his journey into and out of extremism and sends a warning to policymakers and message about education and dialogue. I'm pleased to say Jeff joins me in the studio. Welcome. I mean, you know, what we're going through today with what's happened in northeast Victoria, armed people who have extremist views. You once got sucked into that way of life. How?
For me, the way in was a family connection, but it could be anything for different people. For me, the family connection, my grandfather fought in the German army during the war. My my mother had come over from Germany. And as a child, that fascination with that history is what put me involved in that. And so I wasn't taught racism or hate growing up. I was radicalized into it after I joined.
But you got to the top of this organisation, so you were deep, deep, deep into this, Jeff.
Yes, sir.
What was the organisation's purpose?
So the organization's purpose was to have a white homeland in the United States, to deport people to other countries and basically to have a white homeland in the United States. That's what the organization's underlying goal was.
What was the turning point then?
For me, the turning point was meeting people that I had once dehumanized. Sitting down with an African-American and a Muslim lady and seeing their humanity.
What came about? How did that meeting come about, though?
It was.
I mean, you would have, in your youth, you would have said, "I'm not meeting those people."
Right. I wasn't intentionally meeting those people, but these were opportunities to go into. They were for documentary films. And my viewpoint at that time was to get on these programs and spew the propaganda of the movement. So I would sit down with just about anybody. So I sat down with them, and instead of seeing the enemy, I was able to see the humanity in the people that I sat down with.
That's a very powerful meeting. What did they say?
It was life-altering.
What did they say to you?
Well, I sat down with...
What are you doing with these lunatic people?
No, they didn't approach that way. They did not approach telling me that I was wrong, because family did that. Everybody that I encountered for years and years had did that. What they had did was they explained to me how racism and hate affected them as children growing up, and how that affected them. So I was of the mindset as an extremist that I was part of this noble cause, that I was fighting for my people, that I was fighting for my country. I had that belief system deep, and I was dedicated to it. And when you're sitting across from somebody and you see their humanity and you don't see them as the enemy, but you see them as a human being and a person, that changed everything. So when I sat across from Daryl Davis, who was the first person I sat down with in that type of setting, he explained how racism and hate affected him as a child. And that hurt.
As a lifelong supporter of Nazism, I mean, it would have been a very hard thing to walk away from. So you walk out of that meeting, you think, a light bulb's gone off here. I'm going down the wrong track. But you would have been surrounded by supporters, and you're at the head of this organisation. Yep. How do you get out? I mean, you don't turn up at the next meeting and say, boys, we've got everything wrong.
Right. It was a struggle. It took time. It took me several years to finally break free from it. And that's pretty common for people that are indoctrinated and that are deeply involved in it. It's not usually the snap of a finger decision. It took time. It was a process, and it took a lot to walk away from it. Absolutely.
The book's interesting because you say censorship and banning extremist voices actually makes those movements stronger. Now, we've got some radical groups in Australia at the moment that we're trying to deal with. You heard about, in that interview there, about anti-Semitism. We've got some radical socialist activists who are causing trouble on our streets. When we demonise them, as in we the media, you say it makes you stronger.
I think it's important for the media not to name them, not to name the individuals running it, not to name the group. You could
never use the word Nazi then.
You could use the word Nazi. I think that's fine, but not name the actual organization, because what these organizations do with that is they use it for recruitment. They will repost those images and they'll say, look, we made the news, and every time those translated into new recruits, because that's what I did. That's what I did for 25 years.
We're going to struggle here with young teenagers. Some of them are children of migrants that have come from pretty rough places around the world. They don't seem to fit in, and they're now involved in teenage gangs. I presume that's the first stepping stone to getting into a radicalised group if you're in a teenage gang.
For sure, for sure. Gangs, far left extremism, far right extremism, religious extremism, groups like ISIS, Al-Qaeda, any kind of extremism, all the way they hold people in place is the same. And gangs are an entry point as well. So that, believe it or not, that type of radicalization, it all is the same. I mean, obviously the belief systems and the ideologies are all over the place, but the way they hold people in place is the same. So we tackle all those types of
When you
things.
walked away, there must have been some blowback from the people that you had been mixing with. How did you handle that?
Oh, it was tough. It was
Did they
tough.
threaten you?
Oh, of course. Yeah, there was
Fear
threats.
for your life at any point?
I probably should have, but I don't fear doing what's right. So I do what's right, and I'm not afraid of that. So encourage other people to walk away.
The book also encourages education. I mean, you
Yes.
get the kids younger and you teach them that this is not the right path. Is that what you're saying?
Ideally, if people never get involved in these type of extremist groups in the first place, that's the best route. So if we don't have to worry about de-radicalizing anybody, education is the key. So if we can educate people so they can see the humanity in one another, despite racial differences, religious differences, whatever those differences might be, sexuality, bring people together in our shared humanity.
We have a situation unfolding in our state tonight, northeast Victoria. Someone has allegedly shot dead 2 Victoria police officers. They were simply doing their job, issuing a search warrant. This man is described by one of our newspapers as a member of the sovereign citizen movement. Are you aware of that sort of group and what they are?
Yeah, the sovereign citizens movement goes way back, and this was something that I'm kind of surprised to hear that it's even happening in other countries, because it was an American movement that was very anti-government. Some of these groups, like the Montana Freemen back in 1996, they were printing their own money, and they say that they're constitutionalists, but this is another form of extremism.
And they don't believe the law and order applies to them.
Correct. They believe they're above the law, basically, that the Constitution gives them the right to be this way.
Jeff, really good to see you. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Now, that remarkable book, American Nazi, From Hate to Humanity, it's available now through Wilkinson Publishing and all good bookstores. You must make sure you go out and buy it.